Well, hi everybody, and welcome to the God Around the World slot. There are amazing people in this church doing amazing things for the kingdom around the world. And today we're joined by Dave, who's going to tell us a little bit about what he's doing with Christian Surfers. So Dave, really over to you. Tell us, what is Christian Surfers and what are you up to with them?
Christian Surf is a global movement that really exists to make Jesus known in surfing communities. We meet surfers where they are, in the water, on the beach, in everyday life. And the idea is to build relationships with people, pointing them towards Jesus. My role, it's a role called the EMEA Director, so it's mainly about people and leadership development. I support communities across Europe, the Middle East, and Africa, helping leaders grow healthy, sustainable, local communities. That includes developing, mentoring leaders, helping new communities, and getting surf churches started, strengthening partnerships with churches and local missions, providing vision and direction across just so many cultures. At its heart, Christian Surf is about sharing the good news of Jesus. So it fits.
Wow. That just sounds so cool. I mean, just so many cool things just wrapped up in one package. It's just brilliant. Could you tell us a story maybe about something you've heard God doing amongst some surfers?
I think the coolest story I heard, I was in Portugal the week before last, meeting with some leaders over there, and Samuel told me a story that happened just this last summer in Portugal. There was their church is Surf Church Porto, which goes to the Matosinhos beach every Sunday at 2 p.m. They're at the beach every Sunday. They take the surfboards down there, and they just serve the community on the beach. And Samuel's got a 6-year-old daughter. And he paddled out on a board with his daughter in front of him on the surfboard. And whilst they were out in the water, his daughter said to him, "Hey, Dad, look, there's a girl over there surfing without a wetsuit. Why is she surfing without a wetsuit?" So Sam said to her, "Why didn't you ask her?" So the young girl went, they paddled over, and the young girl asks this girl, "Why are you surfing without a wetsuit?" And the girl responded, "Because I don't have one." And immediately, this young 6-year-old responded, "We're from Surf Church Porto. We've got a bunch of wetsuits on the beach. Why don't we go and get one, and we'll help you fit into one?" So they paddled back to the beach. The girl got into the wetsuit and, just created a relationship. Her name's Michelle, had no relationship with Jesus. And right now she's serving in Surf Church Porto as one of their leaders. And that's just a small example of how God uses us. He has this young girl stepping out in faith because she's seen her father do it before, So I love that story.
That's fantastic. That's lovely. And what's the dream for the coming year or years ahead? Where are you hoping this is all going to go?
I don't know. My hope is just seeing beaches become a place of worship where, we see discipleship, not just recreation. I think perhaps another story as an example is during the course of last year, we sent a bunch of surfboards to Sierra Leone, to Burra Beach, where we've got a guy called Stephen. And we've been just mentoring Stephen. He's got a desire for Christ and a desire for the people in his local beach. And just this week, he sent us some videos of these youths on the beach with their surfboards, but also having Bible study with their surfers' Bibles in their hands, just learning about Jesus. And, ultimately the dream is to see surfers come to Christ. Surf churches established on beaches where surfers can walk out of the sea in their board shorts with sandy feet, go into church, worship God, and go back into the surf, and just share the message with the other surfers in the water. So, to serve, people along the beaches, sing the kingdom of God come on those beaches. That's the dream. Wow,
that's such a cool dream. How could people find out more?
You can certainly just go onto the website. It's christiansurfers.net. Somewhere cool for perhaps people in the church to get engaged directly is on the Bible app. There's reading plans and devotionals that they can go to, and obviously we're on all the social media things, so on Facebook and Instagram and all those, we're there too. So brilliant. Absolutely, you'll find us on all the obvious channels.
And finally, how can we be praying for Christian Surfers and the work that you're doing?
Today we prayed for a young girl, Laura, who's leaving from France. She's going to Benin. In West Africa, and there's no surf school in Benin, and she's got an opportunity to help set up the very, very first surf school in Benin. Yeah. It's a country just like, voodoo is a big deal there. And Lauren's really stepping out in faith, like a huge wild step out in faith. So please pray for Lauren for protection and wisdom and open doors. And I think beyond that, pray for Sue and I, that we steward well what God's placed in our hands. This is a really daunting, huge role that I'm so stoked to be able to serve in, but it's really daunting. Pray that we lead with clarity and creativity and fresh vision as we serve across the region. And I think also, it's a voluntary role that we're serving in, so finance is always going to be an issue. So do pray that we find the financial resort to continue serving as we are at the moment. So those are the headlines really for us.
Hey, thanks. Just incredibly inspiring what you're doing and incredibly exciting. So thank you so much for your time. And people grab Dave and talk to him more.
Yeah, please do. So thank you guys for letting me just share about what's going on. It's cool. Thank you.
Okay, brilliant.